Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or as we like to say here at Shady Acres Woodshop, howdy! Dave at Calmwood Creations sent me this piece of hawthorn a while back. And he wrote on here the history of the weight of the piece, and he says it's down to 3%. That's dry. I've never turned hawthorn before, and I'm really looking forward to it. I did, however, cut about 1.25 inches off of it. It just seemed to be at about 5.5 inches, I think. Just a little deep for the size, which is 7 inches by 8 inches by now 4 inches, 4 or 4.25 inches, something like that. But I'm going to save this piece, Dave. Don't worry, I'm going to save it. And we'll make a plate, or we'll make, I don't know what. We'll make something out of it. Too good to waste. It's a very light colored wood. Just about no grain to it. So it's going to be kind of interesting. It is going to be a live edge piece. Lots of bark on here. There's one little spot where it's missing there, but no big deal. I cut a 3.5 inch clearance so that I'd have a flat place for my chuck jaws to rest. I'm about to drill a 5/16 inch hole. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate it. Cool looking piece. Let's get started. We'll lock the spindle and spin this piece on. Oh yeah, nice and snug. This white wood is so pretty, I just about hate to mar it, but I'm going to. You know, what good would it be if we couldn't touch tools to it? Let's spin it up and see what we get. We'll start out there. That's about 1200 RPM. I'm excited for this. Never turned hawthorn. I kind of like to make an ovalish shape, but we'll see how it goes. So let me sharpen up that 5/8 inch bowl gouge, grab my mask and face shield, and we'll get to turning this hawthorn bowl. Well, I could either hit those cracks with CA or I can leave them. So the folks at Starbond Adhesives contacted me. They'd watched a couple of my videos and wanted to know, did I want to do a review of their product? And I said I would do that, but it was going to be an honest review. I wasn't going to be swayed by free product or anything. And they said, okay. So they sent me this little box of goodies. There's some thin CA in here and some medium and some thick. And they also sent a couple of colors. They sent medium black and medium brown. And I think that's pretty cool. And that's why I decided to go ahead and try filling these cracks. It looks like this brown, if it's this color, might match the bark pretty well on this. I've never used it. This is... I should have probably tried this to see what the flow is like, but I didn't. Let me bring you in a little closer to the cracks here. I hope my hand doesn't get too much in the way. So I'm just gonna fill these cracks with this brown medium thick CA. That crack might go in there deeper than it looks, because this doesn't really seem to be filling it. It looks like a very shallow crack, but every trip down this crack ends up with nothing in the crack. It's sinking in there. Maybe that's good, I don't know. I'll try this one. And then when I'm done, after this is dry, I'll shear scrape. Well, it's not running all over the place, so that's good. I suppose that's because it's medium and not thin. I just don't know. I could hit this with the accelerant, But I've used the accelerant exactly one time, different brand, entirely different brand, different product, and it's stained the wood, changed the color of the wood, and I don't want that. I like that this wood is just plain and nearly white. So I'll let that set up, and then we will shear scrape, try and clean it up, and just leave some brown in the crack there, and it's starting to run here a little bit. And we'll just see what good it does. I have no idea. I know I've heard of Starbond. It's a big company. I've never used any of their products before. And I would like for this to work, obviously, or I wouldn't be doing it. I'll be back in a few minutes. Well, apparently the glue is not dry. That was about 10 minutes, but now I have glue all over my tool rest, and it's coming out of the crack there. So that's not particularly good. It does say, the Starbond instructions say 1 drop per square inch of surface. And of course I had to exceed that because I'm filling a crack. I'm not putting it on the surface. So who knows? I have no idea how far back in there the crack goes. Anyway, so that affects dry time if you use too much of it. And I guess I used too much of it. And I probably have it all over my jacket too. So false alarm. I'll bring you back when it's really dry, and I have no clue when that is. Okay, it's been about another half hour, so we'll see if it worked this time, see if it's dry. And I'm just going to do some shear scraping on it. 1800 RPM. Did not get it all yet. Not yet. Well, you know, that's just not what I had in mind. I thought it would fill the crack and not leave stains. I just have to keep taking more, I guess. Crap. Crap. Crap, that's not what I had in mind at all. I suppose it's me. I guess I'm doing it wrong. I don't know. It didn't really fill the crack. The crack isn't really brown. I don't know. Crap. Gee. Crap. Crap. Still there. Well, I'm going to call it good. I guess sanding might remove the rest of it if I start at 80 grit. I don't need to start at 80 grit because I've got about a 180 finish here, but let's go to work on the bottom, put a tenon on here, put some sort of a little raised area for it to set on. I've removed a lot of wood, and I can't seem to remove that stain. And I haven't flattened the bottom of this off yet. That's just a bandsaw cut on there. That's why it didn't make full contact. We'll use a 1/2 inch standard grind bowl gouge. I'll use my diamond point tool to square up the edges of the tenon. And a 3/8 inch bowl gouge to finish this off here. And a swept back, I guess, to get in there a little more. It turns nice. This Hawthorn turns real nice, real tight grain. Yeah, okay, I can live with that. Time for sanding. Okay, I'm gonna start with 80 grit 2-inch disc sander. I'll sand in reverse. I'll alternate between forward and reverse. I'll be turning at about 350 RPM. And what I'll do after I'm done sanding the piece, I'll peel off the 2-inch sanding disc and use that to do inside here, just with my fingers. And I'll do that through every grit. So I'll see you back here when it's time to put a finish on or sanding sealer, or I'm not sure what we're gonna do. We'll figure it out. See you in a bit. I decided to go with the Howard Feed and Wax on this, hoping it'll bring out some grain. This is a glass smooth finish, I can tell you. Sands up real nice. It turns real nice, this Hawthorn. Well, there's just no grain to bring out. I mean, there's just a little bit there, but hardly any. This would be a good wood to use your texturing tool on. And I considered that, but the shape isn't really conducive to texturing. But, once we get working on the top side, and we have that bark, oh my goodness gracious. It's gonna look wonderful. The dark bark against the light colored wood, yeah. It's gonna look nice. It's gonna be all about the bark. So there we go, it's on. I'm gonna let that set for 20 minutes or a half hour. And I'll come back out here and buff it up. And I'll see you back here when it's time to start hollowing this piece out. And that's gonna be fun. See you in a while. Okay, we're getting excited now. You remember that bark? Oh, that's gonna look so nice with some feed and wax on it against the light color of the wood. Yeah, it's gonna look great. I'm able to turn at 2,000 RPM. It's very well balanced. And I've got my 5/8 inch bowl gouge all sharpened up. Get my mask and face shield on and we'll get to turning. Yeah, I think just a little thinner, but I'm gonna go sharpen up again. This is some hard wood. Be right back. Hawthorn. Well, I'm all sharpened up here. I was gonna make the walls a little thinner, and I still might just a touch. Obviously, I have to clean them up, but this is starting to bother me. This crack. And then we have a mating crack over here. I hope half this bowl doesn't go flying. So that's why I think I shouldn't make the walls a lot thinner. They're pretty thick, 3/8 of an inch at least. But I still have to clean it up, so I'm still gonna make another pass or two. Boy, I hope that holds together. Well, I can't quite reach in there. I want to see how deep we are, or if it's time to quit. Yeah, it's just about time to quit, all right. We're about a ½ inch or a little less. I'm going to sharpen up one more time. Like I said, I'm about a ½ inch, so maybe a ¼ inch more. Yep, that's good. ¼ inch. But it's kind of a sharp corner, and I don't like that. But I can't make that. I can't get that corner around with this gouge. At this depth, I can't get in there. So I guess I'll have to resort to my scraper. And it'll probably need a fresh edge. Yeah, I gotta go put a burr on here. I'll be right back. Okay, we're good. The cracks didn't get any worse, which pleases me no end. Time for sanding. I'm going to start the sanding with my Sandoflex. Just going to sand up the bark here, kind of smooth it out and clean it up. And then I'll move to my 2-inch disc sander to do the inside. Doesn't take much. Spinning at about 350. Yeah, that's going to go pretty good. So that's what I'm going to be spending the next ½ hour to hour doing. And I'll bring you back when it's time to put the finish on the inside. See you in a bit. The sanding is done and the piece is just smooth as silk. So I'm just applying the feed and wax, and then in a minute I'll put some on a brush and brush it into the bark, and then I'll let it dry for a bit, buff it up, and then it'll be time to take off that tenon. We're just about done, boys and girls. Oh yeah, that's going to look nice. It does not give the piece a high shine. That's not what it's designed to do. It's designed to protect the wood and feel nice and bring out the grain. And I think it does all that very well. And it's cheap. Cheap is good. I probably shouldn't say that. They'll raise the price of it or something, but I think I paid $8 for this bottle, and I've been using it for more than a year, and I use it on a lot of stuff. So I'll get this finished up, buffed up, and I'll bring you back when it's time to remove that tenon. Don't go anywhere. Finishing is done. Let's get the tenon off of there. So I've got this block of wood mounted up on my woodworm screw. It's got a non-slip face on it. We'll just put the bowl over that and bring up the tailstock. I've got my center hole there for reference. Bring up the tool rest. It's nicely centered. Got the speed set at about 600 RPM. I'm just going to take this 3/8 inch standard grind bowl gouge and start removing the tenon. Now I'm going to switch to this 3/8 inch swept back gouge. to finish removing the tenon. I'm going to turn the speed down about 200. I'm going to apply the bevel of the gouge against the bottom of the bowl. Pressure towards the headstock. Right hand on the gouge, left hand on the switch. And when that little nub stops turning, we'll know we're through. Like that. So I just have this little area here, but I'll sand up the 2-inch area over here on the workbench. Well, here it is, one Hawthorn bowl. Live edge in the books. Told you that bark could look great. Kind of a nice shape. I did get the oval shape that I wanted, so that's a good thing for me. There's the bottom all finished up. This was a fun piece. Thanks Dave from Calmwood Creations for sending me this Hawthorn. Appreciate it very much. If you like this video, thumbs up please, I'd sure appreciate it. If you're a subscriber, thank you very kindly, I truly appreciate that. If you're not a subscriber, you might consider becoming one. I put out regular videos about one a week, and I'd like to keep in touch. Your comments are always welcome, and I respond to all of them. So for now, this is Phil, Shady Acres Woodshop, signing off.